If a bag says heart healthy, natural, or protein packed, many people assume it must be a safe snack after 60. That sounds sensible. Nuts have a good reputation. They contain healthy fats, minerals, and fiber. So a popular nut mix feels like one of the smartest things you could keep in the pantry. But that belief can mislead older adults more than they realize, because the problem is often not the nut itself. It is the mix. It is the salt. It is the sugar. It is the sweet coating, the roasted oil, the dried fruit syrup, the giant portion, and the habit of grabbing it every single day without thinking. That is when a snack that looks harmless can start pushing the kidneys, the blood vessels, and the body in the wrong direction. So before we count down the worst choices, here is a quick nut mix rule you can use in 8 seconds at the store. Read 3 things. Sodium, sugar, size. Check the sodium line. Check for added sugar. Then ask, is this a small serving food pretending to be an unlimited snack? That simple pause can save you from the kind of bag that quietly turns into kidney stress over time. And after 60, the body is less forgiving of repeated snack mistakes. Even when the package keeps whispering healthy, premium, wholesome, and perfectly safe. This matters more after 60, because many people are no longer starting from a blank slate. Blood pressure may already need watching. Kidney function may be slower than it was years ago. Maybe there is swelling in the ankles by evening. Maybe blood sugar is harder to steady. Maybe energy dips faster. Sleep feels lighter, or lab numbers are not as forgiving as they once were. That is why a snack choice is not always small anymore. When a salty, sweet, oversized nut mix becomes a daily routine, the kidneys have to deal with that repeated pattern. The goal is not fear, it is awareness. A snack rhythm can support hydration, steadier pressure, cravings, and more confidence in your routine. And to keep this simple, type nut check in the comments if you want more healthy living tips like this, with practical grocery rules you can actually use this week. Number 4. Honey roasted mixed nuts. This one catches people because it still looks like a nut product. You see almonds, peanuts, cashews, maybe pecans. So the mind says, this is still basically healthy. But that sweet glaze changes the story fast. Now you are not just eating nuts, you are eating nuts wrapped in added sugar, extra flavoring, and a texture designed to make you keep reaching. That matters after 60, because repeated sugar spikes do not stay in one lane. They can push appetite, weight, triglycerides, and blood sugar in ways that slowly strain the whole system. And when sweet mixes become a nightly habit, people often ignore the serving size completely. The smarter move is not to panic. It is to stop treating honey roasted mixes like a free snack. If you really enjoy them, keep them occasional. Use a small bowl, and do not let them become the bag you open every evening while watching television. And if you notice you eat them faster than plain nuts, believe that signal. The coating is part of the design, not an accident. Number 3, deluxe salted nut mixes. These are the classic party tins and convenience bags that feel harmless because they do not taste sweet. In fact, they often feel disciplined, just nuts, just crunch, just protein, but the salt load can climb quickly, especially when the serving is small on paper and large in real life. After 60, that matters more. The kidneys help manage fluid and mineral balance. Blood pressure often becomes more sensitive, swelling may show up sooner, thirst may rise, and people may still not drink enough water to match what the body is handling. A heavily salted mix can quietly become a repeated sodium hit that works against a kidney-aware routine. This does not mean plain nuts are the enemy. It means salty mixes should not become your automatic default. Look for unsalted or lightly salted versions. And if the taste seems dull at first, give your mouth time to adjust. Taste buds often reset more than people expect. And remember, salt is not only about taste. It changes how often you reach, drink, and keep nibbling long after hunger should have ended. Number 2. Trail mixes built around sweetened dried fruit and chocolate pieces. This is where the health halo gets very strong. The package may show mountains, hikers, fruit, seeds, and words like energy or natural fuel. But many of these mixes are closer to candy with nuts than nuts with a little fruit. The raisins may be sweetened. The cranberries may be loaded with sugar. The chocolate may turn a modest handful into a dessert. And because the nuts are visible, people feel protected from the total load. That is the trap. For older adults trying to protect kidney health, blood sugar, and steady energy. This type of mix can be especially sneaky. You may get a quick lift, then hunger returns, and the cycle repeats. For some people with chronic kidney disease or potassium limits, large amounts of dried fruit may also need a more individualized conversation. So the correction here is simple. If you want trail mix, build your own. Use plain nuts, a modest amount of unsweetened dried fruit if it fits your needs, and keep the chocolate pieces from taking over the whole bag. A homemade version may look less exciting, but boring is often safer when the goal is a repeatable routine instead of a weekend treat. Number 1. Seasoned roasted nut mixes in large tubs. This is the quiet champion of overdoing it. Garlic pepper, smokehouse, sweet heat, barbecue, sea salt, and cracked pepper. The labels sound savory, gourmet, even premium, but these mixes are often built to be hyper easy to eat. The seasoning powders cling to the fingers. The oils carry the flavor. The crunch is addictive. The container is huge. And because it is not dessert, people give themselves permission to keep grazing. That repeated pattern can mean more sodium, more calories, more thirst, and more pressure on a body that is already working harder after 60. This is especially true when the tub lives on the kitchen counter or next to the favorite chair. Then it stops being a food choice and becomes a reflex. That is why this type takes the top spot. Not because one serving is a disaster, but because the package is built for mindless repetition. The practical fix is powerful. Do not snack from the tub, ever. Pour one portion into a small dish. Close the lid, put it away, and make the better choice the easier choice. When flavor is loud and the container is oversized, the body rarely gets a fair chance to say enough before the hand goes back again. Now let us flip the script. Because once people hear some nut mixes deserve caution, they assume the answer is to avoid mixes forever. That is not the goal. The goal is to replace a routine with a smarter one. And the better options are not all the same. One works because it slows you down. One works because the ingredients stay simple. One works because it satisfies without noise. And one stands out because it is easy to repeat in a kidney pattern. So let us count down the mixes that make replacements after 60. Best mix, number 4. A plain walnut and pecan mix. Most people think a better snack has to taste plain and joyless. This one proves otherwise. Walnuts and pecans are rich enough to feel satisfying without needing candy coating or heavy seasoning. That matters because a snack that feels a little special is often easier to stick with than one that feels like punishment. The hidden advantage here is replacement power. A small portion of plain walnuts and pecans can take the place of cookies, sweet crackers, or late-night dessert nibbling. That is useful after 60, when the goal is not perfection. It is choosing the version that asks less from the kidneys, the blood sugar, and the appetite. This mix also works well when you keep the portion visible. A small dish, a measured jar, not a family-sized tub. If you want extra flavor, add cinnamon at home, instead of buying a glazed version. That way the mix stays simple, satisfying, and much easier to defend as part of a steady routine. It also feels naturally rich. So many people stop sooner, which is exactly what a smart evening snack should encourage. Best mix number 3, an almond and pistachio mix with the pistachios in the shell. This choice gives you something many older adults need more than they realize. Speed control. Almonds are practical. Pistachios are interactive. When some of the pistachios stay in the shell, the hand slows down. That small pause gives the body time to register the portion. It also makes mindless grazing less automatic. That is the hidden advantage. You are not relying on willpower alone. You are building structure into the snack itself. This kind of mix can work especially well in the afternoon, when many people want crunch, a little protein, and something that does not send them looking for sweets an hour later. It is also easy to customize. If salt is a concern, choose unsalted almonds and pistachios. If chewing is an issue, use more sliced almonds and fewer pistachios. The point is flexibility. A better mix is not just healthy on paper. It has to fit real life, real hands, real habits, and real energy. The shells also leave a visual trail, and that simple cue can quietly improve portion awareness. Best mix number 2, a simple, unsalted mixed nut blend with a short ingredient list. This may sound almost too basic to earn the number 2 spot, but simple is exactly why it belongs here. A plain blend of almonds, walnuts, and pecans or almonds, walnuts, and pistachios, is one of the easiest options to repeat cleanly. No sweet dust, no sticky coating, no mystery oils, no snack isla drama. That matters because the foods that protect health over time are usually the foods that stay boring enough to stay honest. You open the bag, you know what it is, and your body is not negotiating with a flavor laboratory. This kind of mix also makes the 8-second rule easy. Sodium low, added sugar 0, ingredients short. That is a powerful combination for adults who want more control without turning every grocery trip into a chemistry lesson. And because it is versatile, you can use it more than one way. A small handful on oatmeal, a spoonful over plain yogurt, a measured snack between meals. That versatility helps the better choice show up again tomorrow. It is a snack you can recognize instantly, which makes consistent choices easier on busy or distracted days. Best mix number 1. A homemade portioned mix built around walnuts, almonds, and one optional extra. If there is one version that best supports kidney-aware healthy aging after 60, it is this one. Not because it is trendy, not because it is perfect, but because it gives you control over the variables that matter most. You choose the nuts. You decide the salt level. You decide whether there is dried fruit and how much. You decide the portion before the craving starts. That is why it rises to number 1. The best snack is often the one that removes friction from the healthier decision. Try a simple pattern, mostly walnuts and almonds. Then add one optional extra for interest, maybe pecans, pistachios, or pumpkin seeds, if they fit your needs. Portion each serving into a small jar or container for the week. Now the snack is ready before you are tired, rushed, or hungry. That one bit of preparation can change everything. It turns a vague good intention into a repeatable habit. And after 60, the habits that are easiest to repeat with calm control are usually the ones that help the most. When the portion is waiting for you, convenience finally works in favor of health instead of against it. So here is the full takeaway. After 60, the smartest question is not, which nut mix is good or bad forever? The better question is, which mix, in which form, in which portion, fits my body now? Be more careful with honey-roasted mixes, salty party blends, candy-style trail mixes, and oversized seasoned tubs that turn snacking into repetition. Build more of your routine around walnut and pecan mixes, almond and pistachio combinations, simple unsalted blends, and homemade portion jars. And remember the rule: sodium, sugar, size. If the salt is high, the sugar is added, and the serving is unrealistically small, that product should not become your default. The goal is not to fear nuts. The goal is to stop a mix from pretending to be a health food. That one shift can protect energy and kidney awareness. And one more important point before we finish. If you have chronic kidney disease, kidney stones, diabetes, heart failure, swelling, or you take medicines that affect fluid balance, do not copy a general internet list blindly. Some people do fine with nuts in the right amount. Others need more limits based on labs, stone type, symptoms, appetite, and treatment plans. So use this video as an aging guide, not as a diagnosis. When in doubt, bring your snack label to your clinician or dietitian and ask what fits you best. So here is the easiest way to comment today. Write nut check if you are going to use the 8-second rule this week, or write walnut, almond, pistachio, or pecan for the mix you want to build first. And share this video with a spouse, sibling, parent, or friend over 60 who still trusts every healthy-sounding snack bag on the shelf. Stay steady, stay selective, and I will see you in the next video with more steady guidance. If a bag says heart healthy, natural, or protein packed, many people assume it must be a safe snack after 60. That sounds sensible. Nuts have a good reputation. They contain healthy fats, minerals, and fiber. So a popular nut mix feels like one of the smartest things you could keep in the pantry. But that belief can mislead older adults more than they realize, because the problem is often not the nut itself. It is the mix. It is the salt. It is the sugar. It is the sweet coating, the roasted oil, the dried fruit syrup, the giant portion, and the habit of grabbing it every single day without thinking. That is when a snack that looks harmless can start pushing the kidneys, the blood vessels, and the body in the wrong direction. So before we count down the worst choices, Here is a quick nut mix rule you can use in 8 seconds at the store. Read 3 things. Sodium, sugar, size. Check the sodium line. Check for added sugar. Then ask, is this a small serving food pretending to be an unlimited snack? That simple pause can save you from the kind of bag that quietly turns into kidney stress over time. And
Always
after
check the
60,
serving size.
the body
Pay
is
attention
less
to
forgiving
sodium
of
and
repeated
especially
snack
added sugars.
mistakes.
A simple
Even when
switch
the
to a bowl
package
can
keeps
help you
whispering
manage your
healthy,
portions.